again, for the first time, Honored versus AZ Mama Fataba. Let's go. Oh, and perfect timing. This song ends too, so let's kick play as the song starts. So, it's a classic song. We see Rotom Wash come out on Adrian's side. Classic lead, very flexible Mon. But we see the Gastrodon from Andrew's side, which means that Rotom Wash can't Volt Switch out. But it's okay because he uses Trick. Gastrodon's now going to be locked into whatever move it selects. And it selects Stealth Rock. Both fine leads. Is that what the name's after? GE Wash? Yeah, we see the Scizor come in. And into a Will-O-Wisp. That's very unfortunate. Scizor being a physical attacker, you hate to see that. Now, not too much that Scizor can do here. We should be expecting a switch from both sides, and now we do see the Volt switch come out from Adrian's side. Who is going to be his burned Scizor switch in? It's gonna be Toxapex, just, you know, scouting out what Andrew can do. Toxapex very defensive and especially defensive Mon. We actually see a U-turn as well. And a Life Orb. So Life Orb burned Scizor. Not very good. What is Andrew's Toxapex switch? We see Toxtricity. It's electric poison type. I'm assuming that he's gonna try to hit Toxapex with an electric move here. Super effective. I'm not sure how much it'll do, but it's not gonna matter because Adrian switches into his Magnalong, his Sandy Shocks. And if he did lock into an electric move, Sandy Shock's gonna be immune to it, and that's exactly what we see. Volt Switch does not affect the opposing Sandy Shock. But we see the switch out into an Iron Jugulus. This could be a dangerous switch in, and that's exactly why. Because Magnalong, electric type against flying, we see an electric move come out and take out the Iron Jugulus threat. So, Adrian off to a strong start here. Switches back into his Rotom. You know, we don't know who Andrew's gonna send out, so might as well send out someone who's already been out. Now we see the Espeon come out. Espeon being the screen setter that it is, light screen since Rotom Wash is a special attacker, and that's why it's only going to take 15% from this Volt Switch. But I'd imagine that Adrian has some answers to the Espeon, and now comes out Andrea Botez. Shout out to her, the King Gambit. You know, Dark type being immune to Psychic, so now Espeon cannot lock into any Psychic type moves here. We might see a Reflect come up since King Gambit's a physical attacker, needs to resist something. Espeon might take a lot here, and actually doesn't. We see a Swords Dance come out from Andrea Botez, and now the Reflect is basically a null point now. Gastrodon comes in, should resist a Steel type move, or whatever King Gambit has, but it actually takes 55%. So even behind a Reflect, Gastrodon should get 2-hit KO'd, but we see an Iron Head, probably reading an Iron Valiant switch in, and Andrew chooses to recover with his Gastrodon. Not sure how much I agree with that, because if we see this exchange happen, Iron Head and recover happen over and over again, he's basically wasting his screens, which are gonna go away in a little bit now. We lose the light screen, doesn't matter too much against King Gambit, but we have one more turn with the Reflect, and I believe he's just sacking his Scizor here. Does Scizor live in Iron Head? It does. The thing is, Scizor can't hit King Gambit very hard behind the burn. And unless it has close combat, but close combat fighting type move would be 4 times effective against the King Gambit. But King Gambit's actually faster than Scizor and takes him out with an Iron Head, so it doesn't even matter. That must mean that the Scizor isn't speed invested, since if both of them were speed invested, Scizor would have been faster. Now we see the Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant is a Fairy fighting type. Fairy is weak to Steel, but that fighting type is gonna be crazy. Okay, I'm gonna pause a little bit here. We see a Terra type Fairy come out of Iron Valiant versus a King Gambit. I'm not sure what he was going for here, but it doesn't matter because now we see a Terra Ghost from the King Gambit going to eat this Moonblast. I'm not sure if Iron Valiant was running a fighting move, but that's probably where the Terra Ghost came from. Fighting would have been 4 times effective against King Gambit and would have taken it out. But because the King Gambit Terra Ghosted, King Gambit would have been immune to the fighting type move and would get to hit Iron Valiant back pretty hard. But we see the Moonblast hit the Terra Ghost King Gambit for only 69%. 69%, let's go. And yeah, because it didn't kill the Iron Gambit or King Gambit in one hit, King Gambit's gonna be able to kill it back with one move. And now Andrew only has his Gastrodon, Toxtricity, and Espeon left versus the entirety of Adrian's team with a 2x attack King Gambit on the board. So Andrew's in a bit of trouble. He already used his Terra also. We see the Gastrodon go down to a Kowtow Cleave. This is looking like it's going to be a 6-0 from Adrian's side. King Gambit putting in the work that he pretty much planned for, you know. We might just speed things up a little bit here. Toxtricity comes out, but I don't think it's going to matter. King Gambit usually runs Sucker Punch, and there it is. Sucker Punch, stab, 2x attack. King Gambit's super high attack power just takes out the Toxtricity in one hit. Yeah, now we have Espeon. Will we see the reverse 6-0 Espeon? Likely not, because it is a utility type Espeon with the Light Screen Reflect. It isn't Specspeon, it was popular in previous generations. Yeah, Psyshock only does 32. I scrolled down on accident. And there it is. The King Gambit being the MVP of Adrian's team. And the first match of the Pokemon Showdown League goes to Adrian, aka AZ Mom of Fataba, with a clean 6-0 over Honored. GG's. I will likely go back and analyze the moves step by step in at another recording. This one's just going to be the live commentary one. And yeah, GG's, boys. On to the next one. On to the next one. Appreciate you guys coming here. Now I can kind of read some stuff between games. Yeah, looks like really slow is the play. It is kind of funny seeing how between turns though it ends up being super fast. Yeah, hopefully I can get some other people commentating with me in future broadcasts and also future live recordings. And yeah, that would be super hype. We did live commentate Chin and Mr. Deadman's match last week. Joey and I did that, so expect a YouTube video with our live recordings there. But before we even, that's another sidetrack. Right now we have another match to get into, the second match of the Pokemon Showdown League between Splinter and Woven Steel. Just a bit of background, Woven Steel has had previous Pokemon experience. I believe he said between Gens 4 and 6, and then Splinter, or Harrison, is newer to competitive Pokemon, but as soon as we started the draft league, I heard that he's been doing some homework. And both of them have some pretty crazy mons. We have Dragapult, Skeledirge, and Annihilate on Harrison's team, the Ghost Trio. And Woven Steel, not a team to scoff at. We see Roaring Moon, who's been tearing up the OU tier, Klefki, an old school classic, Gyarados and Tyranitar and Gardevoir as well, and we see a Staraptor too. So I'm interested to see how these two players will, start the battle off. So let's get into it. So battle started between Woven Steel and Splinter. Good luck, boys. So we see Woven Steel lead off with the Staraptor, and Splinter with the Skeledirge. Do we see an Intimidate come off from the Staraptor? No, it looks like it's going to be a Reckless one. And we see the switch out immediately with the U-turn. That's probably why he led off with Staraptor, fast U-turn into Gardevoir. Interesting decision since Skeledirge is a Fire Ghost. Gardevoir is weak to Ghost type, but he must not be expecting a Ghost type move since Staraptor is normal and would have been immune to a Ghost type move if he had stayed in. But let's see what Harrison decides to click. He clicks Will-O-Wisp, trying to burn the physical attacking Staraptor. Don't disagree with that one, but it is unfortunate that it missed. But also, Gardevoir isn't that hindered from a Will-O-Wisp to begin with, since it's a special attacker. So it would be taking a little bit of chip, but not much more after that. See a Psyshock go into the Skeledirge. Interesting choice. And Will-O-Wisp again. I feel like this time he could have gone for a Shadow Ball, just get some extra damage off on the Gardevoir. It's not the worst case that Gardevoir is burned, but I don't think it's going to impact the match all that much. But we'll see what happens. You see the Psyshock again. Not sure what the camera's going for, other than maybe just some chip. Maybe there's not an appropriate Skeledirge switch in here. And we see the Hex come out from Skeledirge. Probably why Harrison was going for that burn, because Hex's damage is doubled when the enemy is statused. But it's still not enough to take out the Gardevoir, and it still lives burn damage as well at 5%. I'm expecting a switch out. Yes, we see the switch out to Staraptor, maybe expecting another Ghost, or Shadow Ball, or Hex I mean, rather. But we actually see a Slack Off. So maybe Harrison expected the switch out here, getting the Skeledirge back up to almost full health. U-turn doing nothing. So who is the Skeledirge switching this time? Probably not Gardevoir, probably doesn't want to back it just yet. See the Klefki come out into a Torch Song, and crazy enough, Torch Song is not enough to Oko the Klefki, but it does give the Skeledirge the 1.5 times special attack boost. That's Torch Song's thing, that's Skeledirge's whole thing. But Klefki has the Prankster ability, which means that if it doesn't click an attacking move, it will go first. So let's see what it uses Prankster for. It sets up spikes, you know, can't go wrong with setting up hazards, 1v1s, and the Hex takes out the Klefki. So Klefki sets up spikes, but doesn't do much else. But Cameron will get a clean switch in here. And now we bring out the Roaring Moon, the big threat. But he is risking getting hit by a Will-O-Wisp here if he can't kill the Skeledirge in one hit, and that's not... He doesn't kill the Skeledirge. Super effective Crunch. Almost... Well... Doesn't take it out. We see a Torch Song. I would have loved to see a Will-O-Wisp on this guy, because burning the Roaring Moon will increase Harrison's chances to win, and this is why. Because now we're getting the setup from Roaring Moon. Now we get the Wisp, but it's not as... Doesn't matter as much because of Dance and because of the Roaring Moon's Lumberry is completely nullifying that Will-O-Wisp. Now we see the switch out to Annihilate. I don't know if I agree with this. I think I would have just sacked Skeledirge there. Because if we see the Crunch come out, yeah, Annihilate gonna take a lot of damage. It'll die in one more move. I believe, yeah, Roaring Moon is faster, naturally, and because of the Dragon Dance. Annihilate does not have any priority moves, unless it's a Scarf variant, but we see that it's not. Roaring Moon taking out the Annihilate, the one Uber Pokemon on Harrison's team. And now Harrison's in a lot of trouble, because how do we take out the +1 attack +1 speed Roaring Moon? We see the Copperajah come out. It should resist a Crunch, but what other moves does Roaring Moon have? I believe Roaring Moon usually, or can run Earthquake, which would be a problem. And there it is, yeah, the Earthquake comes out, kills the Copperajah, the literal tin can. Literal tin can going down. We see the Terra flying too. That was an interesting use of Terra. Maybe he wasn't expecting the Earthquake to kill the Copperajah like that and didn't want to get Earthquaked back. But yeah. Now we see the Crunch, super effective on Dragapult. Dragapult being the fastest Mon other than Electrode. But doesn't matter. 1.5 times speed, putting in a lot of work. And I think it's just gonna be a Roaring Moon sweep from this point on. Unless Harrison has some anti-Roaring Moon tech. But it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, Dragalge goes down. See you later, Barbara. And Harrison only has his Grafai and Skeledirge left. I can't believe this name is allowed on Pokemon Showdown. Fuckface. And yeah, Fuckface gets fucked by Earthquake as well. And I think he just clicks Earthquake and wins the game. That weakness to ground, hurting Harrison's team quite a bit. +1 attack, +1 speed, just, yeah. That's why Roaring Moon can be super, super good. And there it goes. Harrison winning the nickname battle, but Cameron Wovensteel winning the actual battle. So GG's to you boys. GG. And look, we actually have some comments from them too. Today I learned Roaring Moon has Earthquake. Yeah, that's huge. And that's why prepping for your battle in the days before it actually happens is super good. Like, there's only 8 Pokemon that you have to worry about, so knowing what those 8 Pokemon can do, and against your team specifically, is good stuff to know. And yeah. So GG's to Wovensteel, GG's to Splinter. Let's go on to the next one. So, this battle is between Bottom Joey and Mythos, or Sean, or in this case, he named himself AFK if paralyzed. Great Pokemon name, also a great avatar, just a little clown. And yeah, looking at the teams, Sean's team looks menacing. He has the Grimmsnarl with the prankster screens and parting shot. He has the Orthworm with the shed tail, and he has a bunch of Pokemon that can make use of being behind Shed Tail. We have Espathra, who we all know does Calm Mind, Speed Boost, Stored Power, Cheese. We have Cloyster, who can do the Shell Smash stuff, and Heal Link. We have the Noivern, who, interesting pick, but I've seen it put in work as like a Terra Normal Boomburst type thing. And the boy, Iron Hands. Iron Hands, just a super bulky Mon with some surprising utility. On Joey's team, we have the Wo-Chien, the internet favorite. We have the Palm Mountain. We might see some revival blessing stuff, and you know, a competitive favorite in Garchomp. So let's see how these guys use their Pokemons in battle. Let's get this battle going. We got the really slow start. We have a lead Drifblim, Bloons Tower Defense 2. I like it. Versus the shiny Grimmsnarl, but also not nicknamed. So losing points already in the beginning. We see a Reflect come out, which is interesting since Drifblim is a special attacker. Generally, you want to put out the screen that deflects the Pokemon in front of you. See a Shadow Ball from Drifblim, which is pretty interesting since Grimmsnarl resists that. And now we see a switch into Garchomp from Joey. And yeah, Grimmsnarl just doing what it usually does, reflect, light screen. Probably gonna Parting Shot here versus the Garchomp. Garchomp's doing what it does. Garchomp in Gen 9 is basically a hazard setter, a utility mon. And we see a Spirit Break instead of a Parting Shot. That's huge, because now Garchomp is one hit away from potentially dying to this Grimmsnarl, so Joey's gonna have to make a decision here. But Sean makes it first with a Parting Shot, not risky, or saving his Grimmsnarl for later, and switching into Noivern. Interesting. I feel like he could have switched straight into Orthworm, but it's okay. And Joey actually running Brick Break, probably some draft-specific prep to get rid of the Grimmsnarl screens, which should have been super expected. And now we see the Iron Tread switch into Noivern. Maybe this is a specially defensive type set. And yeah, we see Draco Meteor only doing 40% to Iron Treads. So most likely especially defensive. Wow, sorry, my bad, guys. Most likely especially defensive. It would have tanked the Terra Normal Boomburst. Apparently tanks the Draco Meteor pretty well. And if anyone saw that, we're gonna see if it tanks a halved special attack Flamethrower, despite it being super effective. And it does, but it also lands a burn, which is not very good for the Iron Treads. But despite the burn, it still kills the Noivern with the Ice Spinner. But Noivern being 4 times weak to ice, that definitely contributes to it. But who do we see now? I think we're going to see an Orthworm switch in, because it can probably Shed Tail pretty safely against this Iron Treads. We see Iron Hands instead. Okay. I would have liked to see the Orthworm, but let's see what Sean's cooking. Ice Spinner does nothing to this Iron Hands. Iron Hands has a crazy defense stat and health stat, and they have a Fire Punch. Okay. That's a interesting tech to reveal to kill the low percent Iron Treads, but now we know the Iron Hands has Fire Punch. So now that we've seen the Fire Punch, we see the Armarouge come in. Fire Punch is going to do nothing to this, and Psychic moves would have obliterated Iron Hands. We see the Orthworm come out, actually. Wonder if... Oh, Joey does not click a Fire move. He clicks a Calm Mind, which might let the Orthworm set up, but we'll see what happens. Nope, Orthworm actually just goes down to an Armor Cannon from Armarouge. So no more Shed Tail threats. I would have liked to see the Orthworm come out behind the screens. That's what's usually done, but we don't see that anymore. And we actually see the Cloyster come out. I was expecting the Grimmsnarl to come out to set up a light screen, so this Armarouge can't do some stuff. But we see a double back into Iron Hand. So Cloyster taking 25-ish% for reasons only known to Sean at this moment. Terra Psychic comes out. I think Joey just trying to hit someone super hard with a Psychic move, and it takes out Iron Hands. Super effective. I mean, Terra Psychic with the special attack boost goes kind of crazy. Now, Joey can't click a Psychic move here because Grimmsnarl is immune to Psychic moves, so he might just have to click a Fire move again. We should see a light screen here. Oh, we just see a Parting Shot. I'd have liked to see a light screen first. Backing Grimmsnarl might have been play here, but I don't think this Cloyster is going to eat a special attack from Armarouge. And once again, we don't see an attack come out from Armarouge. We see a Calm Mind just in Sean's head, expecting these switch outs. Shell Smash, I don't know. I feel like he should have just attacked. Because now if Joey attacks here, Cloyster's just done for. Cloyster does have a high defense stat, but it has a very low special defense. As we can see, as it goes down in one hit. Cloyster did take 2 Stealth Rock damages before coming in, but I don't think that would have mattered unless he had a Focus Sash. And now, this is Sean's only hope, the Espathra. But Espathra known for 6-0ing teams against people who don't know how to outplay it. I don't know if I like that switch out. I feel like I would have just taken some damage on the Espathra with the Armor Rouge. And now we're gonna see the Espathra setup. Maybe Drifloon has something that can stop this Espathra from turning into a monster. But if he doesn't, we might just see something real bad. It doesn't help that Drifloon's a special attacker either, because now the special defense just going way through the roof. That only does 35%. And Espathra can run Roost too. So if it can't do more than like 50% per attack, this Espathra is going to get real nasty. And it actually already is. Look at those stat boosts. We'll probably start seeing some Sword Powers soon. But Wo Chien comes in. If he clicks Sword Power, this is not going to do anything. He just clicks Calm Mind once again. Calm Mind, wow. So I don't know if there's a world where Joey wins this one no more. I think it's just, yeah, I think Espathra just 6-0s here. We see the Terra Fairy too. Just not very good news for one of our players. Dazzling Gleam actually doesn't take it out. Wo Chien being super specially defense invested. And we see a Leech Seed. I don't know if the Leech Seed is going to be enough for Espathra to switch out, especially since it has access to Roost. It'll probably kill Wo Chien in one more hit, and it probably OHKOs the rest of Joey's team. But we'll see what happens. We see a Protect trying to stall out the Espathra, take out more of its health. But Sean either reads the Protect and Roost, or just decides to Roost there to not get too low in case Wo Chien hits him with something hard. But I don't think Wo Chien has anything to hit a Fairy type. Yeah, that Dazzling Gleam's gonna take it out, no problem. And yeah, there down goes Mochamba. Joey left with 4 Pokemon, but Garchomp at 45%, and it's probably not going to go into this Fairy. But I think this is just over now. We see the Palmot. Maybe Palmot gets a Revival Blessing off on either Iron Treads or Wo Chien, but I don't see either of them changing the outcome too much here. Maybe Iron Treads. I don't know. I don't think Iron Treads lives anything. I don't remember if Joey's used his Terra yet, but he basically needs like a Terra Dark something here to destroy this. A Terra Dark physical attacker. This Espathra's physical defense is not very good, but yeah. Oh, we have a Focus Sash on the Palmot, the big Fister. Let's see how big the Fist does, like how much the Fist does. Yeah, only 20% with an Ice Punch. So yeah, we might just speed this up a little bit now. We're gonna click normal speed. Mach Punch resisted because of its Fairy, and we see a Roost. Sean just not clicking attacking moves right now. Doesn't have to. Trying not to throw the game, because if Espathra goes down, he only has Grimmsnarl, and Grimmsnarl's not gonna kill the rest of these. But yeah, I think now Sean just clicks attacking moves and he wins. Leech Seed not doing anything since the Pokemon are dying before they can get used. See another Calm Mind come out. That's pretty interesting. Wonder what he's boosting for. Armor Rouge probably Joey's last threat for Sean, but it's not gonna matter if he keeps switching out. Yeah, there's the Stored Powers. Stored Power have base power, I think 20 psychic type move, but it gets plus 20 for each boost. So it's like probably 1,000 base power right now with these stats. And yeah, we're gonna see the reverse sweep with this Espathra. That is why people play Espathra in Gen 9. If you can't stop this, then this is what happens. So GG's to both Sean and Joey. GG's. And GG's to Espathra, the clear MVP of this match. So yeah. So on to the next one. This one's a little interesting. We have Kisame with his team, and he was supposed to fight against Brian Callie this week, but Brian was unavailable, so we had our friend Lloyd swap in. Sean's saying that there was a bigger MVP, but he isn't a Pokemon. Probably himself. But yeah, so Kisa was supposed to play against Brian this week, but Brian was unavailable, so we had our friend Lloyd sub in. He had about an hour's worth of prep with Brian's team before fighting, but that's pretty much all the context you need. These two teams, very very off meta, very fun. Kisa Kisa has exclaimed that he's going for like troll strategies that'll just get in people's heads. And then Brian's team, he picked the 8 Pokemon that he thought was the cutest that were available, as you can see here. But despite that, he ended up picking up some super threatening Pokemon, especially Fluttermane, which is one of the strongest Pokemon in the gen. Well, so the game that's about to be played here is how does Kisa deal with Fluttermane, and how does Lloyd bring Fluttermane out to do the most damage possible. So let's go. Battle started between Kisame and Lloydo. Looks like they're talking a bunch even before the match. The Pachirisu lead against Lloyd's team. Probably going to be some Nuzzle shenanigans. And we got the Tinkaton lead. Okay. Tinkaton being the only hazard setter available to Brian's team, so might see some hazards here. Got to protect off from Pachirisu to scout out what Tinkaton might do, and we see a fake out come out. Okay. Probably just trying to get some chip off. And unfortunately, he gets encored into the fake out. So he's just gonna have to fake out again and do nothing. So Lloyd has to switch out here, or he's just gonna have to fake out like 3 or 4 times in a row because of the encore. We see the switch out into Tandem Mouse, not the fully evolved Mousehold, the Tandem Mouse. And we see that Pachirisu is gonna start setting up screens now. We've seen Protect, Encore, Light Screen. We see the Protect again, probably scouting out what the Tandem Mouse can do. But there's really only one button that the Tandem Mouse should switch, or should pick. It wasn't that one, but switchery is going to be interesting. It just switches back, takes the Choice Scarf back, and gives the Pachirisu its Light Clay back. Interesting choice. We see a Nuzzle come out. I'm surprised that we didn't see an Encore just to see the switcheroo shenanigans, but now Tandem Mouse is paralyzed. And here's a switch out into Pincurchin. Not sure what this thing does other than set up electric terrain. And this is what I was expecting earlier. Population Bomb. Tandem Mouse does get the signature move, Population Bomb, which should hit up to 10 times. And look at that thing go. 2 critical hits at the end to bring Pincurchin down to below 50% health. But Pincurchin's running a red card. So Tandem Mouse gets to get out of there pretty safely, and Fido is dragged out. Look at how much yellow is on the screen right now. Pretty insane. Fido setting up Sunny Day, likely to set up for the Photosynthesis Fluttermane. And oh, Pincurchin has spikes. Wasn't aware that Pincurchin was a hazard setter, and that's going to be a very very difficult thing to deal with for Lloyd, since Lloyd's team has no hazard removal in the 6 Pokemon that he brought. Just fun fact, the entirety of Brian's team has no hazard removal, so these toxic spikes gonna be Lloyd is on a timer now to beat Kisa, because these toxic spikes are just gonna toxic everyone. However, Fluttermane now comes in under the sun, and it looks like it has heavy duty boots because those toxic spikes do nothing to it. So this is where Lloyd's comeback can begin. Lloyd is gonna hit something really hard with his Fluttermane. There is a light screen up, so the damage is gonna be less than it should be. We see a Protect come out, probably just trying to preserve the Pincurchin. And I'm not sure if I agree with that, just because now the light screen's gonna go down. But maybe Kisa knows something better than I know. So yeah, screens go down, electric terrain is gone, but Fluttermane is in under the sun with a special attack. Sucker Punch does decent damage actually, but not enough to save the Pincurchin from this Fluttermane. You see a Mystical Fire come out to kill the Pincurchin, and whatever Kisa switches into here, it's gonna have to somehow beat Fluttermane. So let's see what Kisa's answer to Fluttermane is. I'm sure that he prepped something for it. We see Rapska come out, despite Mystical Fire being shown and Shadow being weak to Ghost type too. Mystical Fire not enough to take out Rapska either. And we see a substitute instead of a Revival Blessing, and he has just enough percent to be able to do that. We have a 1% Rapska behind a sub now with leftovers, but now Rapska will be able to safely get a Revival Blessing off to bring out that Pincurchin if he wanted to. I don't know if he will right away, but let's see. We do see the revival for Pincurchin. Perhaps Kisa has some stuff on his team that would make use of the electric terrain. But yeah, probably gonna sack Rabska here, just waiting out turns under the sun so Fluttermane's not so strong. But actually, we just see the switch back into Pincurchin to bring out the electric terrain once more. And we see Pincurchin gets brought back only to immediately get taken off the board again. And now Rabska is out of revival blessings. It doesn't have a Lepa berry since it has leftovers. But it was enough turns to make the sun go away. So now that the sun's gone, we bring in Hydreigon. This is an interesting position here because Hydreigon is a dark dragon type and Fluttermane is a ghost fairy. But Dark and Dragon are both weak to Fairy, and Fluttermane has access to Moonblast. So Fluttermane should just absolutely destroy this Hydreigon with one Moonblast, because it's 4 times weak to it. But this is where Terrasolation could come into play, and it does. We get a Terra Steel. It should resist the Moonblast here. I wonder if it'll live. It's actually faster than Fluttermane, so it gets a Flash Cannon off, just taking out the biggest threat on Lloyd's team. Fluttermane down. Oh no! It was emotional damage. When we see the Belly Bolt come out, probably a specially defensive variant to tank this Hydreigon. But we see a switch into Crocodile, because Crocodile is a ground type versus the electric. So if Belly Bolt clicked an electric type move, it's just gonna be immune to it. But it actually Mudshots, which is pretty interesting. Definitely some draft specific tech. Belly Bolt does not run Mudshot on its own. I wonder if it's faster than Crocodile now, and if it's gonna matter. This Toxic's gonna do some damage to Belly Bolt over time. See the Passimian come in. What? See Terra flying from Belly Bolt. I'm not sure what. Oh, Crocodile was threatening Earthquake, wouldn't have hit, and now we see a Soak come out to make it Belly Bolt's Thunder type attacks super effective against whatever Pokemon comes out. So, does Kisa keep the Passimian in, the water type Passimian? I doubt it. We see a U-turn again, so. Oh, Belly Bolt has Rocky Helmet. Interesting. And we see the Pachirisu come out, likely to tank this whatever electric move comes out from Belly Bolt. And yeah, Pachirisu running Volt Absorb, immune to electric type attacks, so just completely red. And now Belly Bolt in a little bit of trouble now. Less than half health, poisoned. Tinkaton comes out. Let's see what Tinkaton does, or what Pachirisu does to this switch in. We see an Encore, probably expecting an attack from Belly Bolt, but we don't see the attack, so the Encore fails. Probably switching out to Rabska, maybe expecting a fake out. I'm surprised they didn't just protect again, but we see a knockoff this time. Knocks off the leftovers, but it doesn't matter because Rabska's gonna go down to this, and Kisa's gonna be able to switch into whatever can kill this Tinkaton. Switches back into Pachirisu. Maybe we'll see a Nuzzle here. And I like the Tandemaus switch because Tandemaus is already paralyzed, so if a Nuzzle does come out, it's gonna do just a little bit of damage and nothing else. So Kisa should be expecting another Population Bomb here. Not sure why he clicked Nuzzle again. Maybe he doesn't want any of the other mons to take a Population Bomb. But let's see how much Population Bomb does this not emo squirrel. I haven't been reading the nicknames, been trying to keep up with everything that's going on screen. And Tandemaus almost killing the Pachirisu with one Population Bomb. It hit all 10 times. And will he Population Bomb again? He should, to just take out the Pachirisu, in my opinion. But he actually goes for a Switcheroo, maybe expecting a switch out and trying to give one of these other Pokemon a Choice Scarf. I'm not sure I would have liked if any of these ones had Choice Scarf. And we see an Encore, so we're gonna see some Switcheroo shenanigans here. It's, yeah, Tandemaus locked into Switcheroo now. So yeah, I think they both just decide to stay in. Squirrel versus two mice. Who wins the matchup? Hope we might find out here in the next few turns. Still, Tandemaus still locked into Switcheroo, which is pretty unfortunate. And we see the switch out now. He's done with the Switcheroo stuff. Back into Tinkaton. Tinkaton taking more spikes damage as a result. And Kisa setting up screens again. Despite the only special attacker on Lloyd's team being Belly Bolt now. Might have been better to just nuzzle and get a paralysis off or more chip on Tandemaus. You see the protect come out, trying to knock off a fake out. So with fake out, you can only do that on the first turn that your Pokemon comes out. That's why that failed. And here's the nuzzle. Now the Tinkaton's paralyzed, and yeah, this not looking good for Lloyd, but there is still some play left. You know, the long game. We see the encore. Now he's encored back into fake out. You saw this back on the first encounter with these two, and it's happened again. So we should see a switch out from Tinkaton. And we see the switch from Kisa's side into Passimian, so we're gonna see a switch on both sides. Fido comes out. Okay, Fairy type versus a fighting type. The Fido is an unevolved Pokemon, so we'll see what it can do. Probably some utility on this Pokemon. We've already seen Sunny Day and Yawn. And Fido actually lives a close combat. That's pretty insane. I didn't expect any of these Pokemon to live any moves when I saw this matchup happening. And Fido passing on a wish. So who will he be passing that wish on to? It's either gonna be Bellybolt or Tinkaton, I'm sure, because those are the win conditions for this team. It's actually gonna go to Tandemaus if Tandemaus can live an attack from Passimian, and it does not. The U-turn's enough to take out the Tandemaus. So we're gonna see what Kisa switches into now, and Lloyd will have the advantage of switching in a Pokemon that's favorable for him. We see the Crocodile now. Crocodile probably trying to set up a Moxie sweep now that Fluttermane's gone. And Teddy Ursa is the answer for Crocodile. We see a Protect come out. Well, like maybe just scouting out what Crocodile will do, but there's only a few things that Crocodile does. It's attack and attack harder. So we see the Earthquake, very common move to be ran on Crocodile. Light screen's off now, but it doesn't matter to Teddy Ursa, the physical attacker. And an Earthquake's just gonna Teddy Ursa is not living that. And Dickface gets a Moxie boost from that. For those who don't know, Moxie Pokemon get plus attack after they've killed them off. So this is not looking good for Lloyd, because everything's weak to ground pretty much, except for the Terraflying Bellybolt. We see the Fake Out come out, just trying to get some chip in. And hopefully that's enough for anyone to hit Crocodile hard enough. We see the Stay In actually, and there's a Shuka Berry to resist ground type moves, but it's not enough. Crocodile's too strong with that attack boost, and he's gonna get another one as he takes out Tinkaton. Now we have a 2x attack Crocodile versus a Bellybolt and a Fido, both of which are poisoned. So I think this game's gonna go to to Kisa, but not before he clicks Earthquake into a flying type Bellybolt. Gotta remember that the Terrestrializations are in play. I don't know if Kisa used his yet, but it's not gonna matter, I don't think. Bellybolt can't hit this thing with any electric moves until after it uses Soak. But I don't know if it has that many turns to do that. We see the Soak come out. Water type now. Earthquake's gonna do less, but I mean, Bellybolt's only at 14% health and Fido only at 19. We see a switch out actually into Veggielicious. It's gonna take 70% from that Thunderbolt, which is pretty significant, but even more significant is the Bellybolt going down to Toxic. And now Fido's gonna have to somehow beat 4 Pokemon by taking 12% from a Toxic or just dying straight up to a Flash Cannon. So yeah, Kisa takes this game over Lloydo, but also shout out to Lloyd for subbing in super last minute. The GG's to both of you guys. GG's. And shout out to everyone in chat right now. You know, keep watching the stream and keeping up with the battles. I see you all. I see you, Vinny, Avo, Lloydo. Yeah, everyone who said something. Felix. There's. So those are the first 4 battles down. We have one more to go. One more to go. One that hasn't been commentated over live. And that's going to be between Forest Tech or Jeremiah or Aztec versus Extra Glock or Avo. Now, there is more than 5 matches that happened this week, but the other ones between Vinny Two Guns and J Knight, the ones between Shinskis and Mr. Deadman, and the ones between Felix or Robin No Hoods and myself all have live commentary. So I'll be uploading and editing those videos sometime after this. In fact, I already have the Vinny versus J Knight one up on YouTube with full commentary from myself and all that. So expect to see something like this for all of the matches that happen in the league. But yeah, go and watch that after, or go and watch it now. Click off the stream, it's cool. But if you decide to stay, we're going to watch the battle between Jeremiah and Avo. So immediately the interesting Pokemon, or the Pokemon of interest, is Chien Pao. Chien Pao on Jeremiah's team. Because Chien Pao is, for those who don't know, is being suspect tested, being moved up to the Ubers tier. Now, when we did this draft at first, Chien Pao was an OU Pokemon. It still is right now, but the people who run Pokemon Showdown decided that Chien Pao might be too strong for the tier. And yeah, so if he gets moved up to Ubers, Jeremiah might have found himself an Uber Pokemon to stay on his team. We're not taking it away because we're going based off a time of draft. So Chien Pao is going to be an OU Pokemon for the duration of the league, regardless of what the outcome is. But we'll see just how strong Chien Pao is in Jeremiah's hands. And it looks like he has the Pelipper also, the only Pokemon that has access to Drizzle in Gen 9. So we'll see if he makes use of the rain, especially since he has the water type Tauros and the water type Dreadnought. So those will be making use of the water typing, or the rain rather. And then yeah, as for Avo's team, we have a lot of fan favorites. You know, we see the Torkoal, we see the Mimikyu, we see the past version of Jigglypuff in Screamtail. But the most threatening Pokemon on Avo's team is the Houndstone. The Houndstone is Avo's one Uber Pokemon on his team, and that thing is just an end game monster, with last respects being a ghost type stab and gaining 50 power for each of the allies that have fallen in battle. So we should expect to see a late game Houndstone, and we'll see if Jeremiah has an answer to that. But until then, let's get things started. Battle between Forsyth and Extra Guac. Oh, now. We see a Dreadnought lead from Jeremiah, named Alexis after our boy Turtle. Shoutouts Turtle. We see a shiny Fortress coming out. Maybe we'll just see some hazard setting from Fortress's side. But from Jeremiah, he switches immediately into Iron Moth, which will prove to be a problem for Fortress. And yeah, we see the spikes come out. It is a hazard setting set. And instead of switching out, Avo uses his Terra Fire to resist an incoming fire attack. Why would Iron Moth not click a fire attack against the Mon that's 4 times weak to it? And Avo gets an extra layer of spikes out of it. I'm not sure how much I like the early Terra for this. Maybe if he had a way to kill the Iron Moth, I think that on that turn it would have been a bit more useful, but you know, getting an extra layer of spikes is not nothing. And that Sludge Wave was not nothing either, but Fortress does live a hit and gets the Gyro Ball off. Just some extra chip on this Iron Moth, but I think he's gonna have to switch out here or sack the Fortress. And he opts to sack the Fortress. Fiery Dance not giving the Iron Moth the boost that Jeremiah is looking for. I believe it increases, like this, it has a chance to increase speed or special attack, one of those. And now we see the shiny Mimikyu come out into the Iron Moth. No, probably just to tank like one attack with its disguise, because Mimikyu can do that. But as far as typing goes, Poison is super effective against Fairy, and unless Avo has a Ghost type move that can kill this Pokemon, I'm not sure what's gonna happen here. But yeah, see, so Jeremiah breaks the disguise with a Sludge Wave. Mimikyu only taking 12% as a result, and we might see a Swords Dance here, or just an attack. We actually see a Trick Room, pretty interesting. I wonder what Avo's gonna do with that Trick Room. He does have a cast of slow Pokemon, so it looks like he's gonna go for some sort of Torkoal sweep here. The shiny Torkoal, but because he set up the Sun, it's actually gonna benefit the Iron Moth as well. And unless Avo can kill this Fire Moth or this Iron Moth in one hit here, Torkoal might go down. See the Body Press come out, but it's not very effective against this Iron Moth since Poison resists fighting. And the Sludge Wave is enough to take out the Torkoal, so now we have an Iron Moth under Sun versus the 4 Pokemon on Avo's team. But again, Avo losing these Pokemon does not matter as much so long as Houndstone is still on the field. And we might see that come into play later. Now, Screamtail coming in, making use of the Sun It gets a speed boost, but it's in Trick Room, so being faster is actually not a good thing here because Iron Moth gets a free Sludge Wave off in the beginning, and I don't know if that Calm Mind is going to be enough to live another Sludge Wave from Iron Moth in the Trick Room, but we'll see. Screamtail does have leftovers. Is it enough? No, it's not enough. So Screamtail goes down as well. But again, Houndstone being in the back, and no normal type moves, no ghost immunities. We might see a reverse sweep here still, especially with Mimikyu running Trick Room, because that'll handle all the Pokemon that are faster than Houndstone. We see the Mimikyu come back. Maybe now it's time to set up the Trick Room. We see a Shadow Sneak, and it's a Life Orb Mimikyu, so I think Mimikyu is just gonna die here to another Sludge Wave. It actually doesn't. Oh, okay, so Ghost must resist Poison also. I don't have all the resists and strengths memorized, but that's good for Avo that Mimikyu can tank that, because now it can take out the Iron Moth, which has done a significant amount of damage. I'd say Iron Moth has done its job for its team, and Mimikyu is on a timer because of that Life Orb, and Mimikyu does not have any type of recovery. See the Amoonguss come out. They should be able to tank whatever Mimikyu has. Defensive Mon. Ooh, we see the Will-O-Wisp. Okay. Not sure how much that'll do, or if it's gonna do enough at this stage in the game, but you know, it's better than nothing. I would like to see. What do I want to see here? I want to see. Oh, player. Okay, well, Fairy or Amoonguss is a poison type, so resist Fairy. There's not much that Mimikyu can do other than the Shadow Sneak, or maybe set up a Trick Room, but Amoonguss would have taken advantage of that Trick Room as well, being slower than the rest of Avo's team. So now he has a Breloom and a Houndstone left. What do we see here? Maybe the Breloom first, just so that Amoonguss can't use Spore on this turn. It's a shiny Breloom as well. I really like that he brought pretty much all shiny Pokemon to the battle. We see a Swords Dance. They can get a Swords Dance off for free because Breloom or Amoonguss can't do too much, or I'm proven wrong apparently. The Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss does 92% to Breloom, and because it got poisoned, it doesn't matter because it's actually not that bad for Avo because he's running Poison Heal, the Breloom. Pretty sure Breloom usually runs the other ability it gets, but this makes it so that Breloom did not just die on that turn. Instead, it's going to die on this turn to the Sludge Bomb. Wasn't able to do enough damage to Amoonguss, unfortunately, being the wall that it is. And now we get to see how much Houndstone can do on its own versus the rest of Jeremiah's cast. I'm afraid that the Houndstone might not be enough just because of how fast and threatening Chien Pao is. But we'll see. We'll see. We got the shiny Houndstone coming out too. And here it is. This is what Avo's got to do for the rest of the game. Just click Last Respects and hopefully kill everything in its path. Last Respects is currently at 300 base power since it's the only Pokemon left. And that's just going to kill everything. We see the Pelipper come out. I don't know if I like that because Houndstone's going to be faster and it's just dead. Maybe Jeremiah is trying to make use of the Swift Swim Dreadnought. So Dreadnought should be able to get an attack off without dying first. Tauros probably not going to do too much this game now. And we see the Chien Pao come out actually. Because it's faster, we might see the Crunch come out just to kill it. We see a Sucker Punch instead, and that is more than enough. Take out Avo's last Pokemon, the Houndstone, B threat. So, yeah, that one is the last of the replay battles from week 1. GG's to both Avo and Jeremiah Force Tech for that game. And